Riverside Automotive Group. Gridiron Central is sponsored by Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Riverside Automotive Group.
Welcome to the Gridiron Central Scoreboard Show. We have just 3 weeks of the regular season remaining, and on tonight we had a lot of games that started to clear up the cloudy playoff and region title implication picture. We're going to start off just talking about the games in one of the more interesting games of the night. Two undefeated teams met. Obviously, when two undefeateds meet, one of them's getting their first loss, another one's going to stay undefeated. That happened at Cartersville. The Purple Hurricanes 41, Gordon Central 19. Cartersville, for all practical purposes now, doesn't completely cement themselves as the region champions, but they are the odds-on favorite to win that region title. Gordon Central takes its first loss of the season. The Warriors still have a lot to play for, though, and have a solid good shot at the number 2 spot in the playoffs out of that region. Darlington, 31, Gordon Lee, nothing. This is only Gordon Lee's second loss of the year. Darlington grabs a hold of the Region 6A sub-region they're in. They're sitting on top, the only one that's undefeated in sub-region play. Darlington, with 2 weeks left to go before the region finals, looks to be in very good shape. East Paulding 52, Rome 6. Of course, I said at the beginning of the season, Rome had 2 huge games that were going to be very difficult for them to win. That was Alatoona, who beat them, and East Paulding, who beat them. That being said, Rome has a solid hold on the number 3 spot in the region and should make the playoffs, although they will be on the road in the first round as things sit right now. Adairsville 49, Sonoraville 39. Not much defense in this one as the two teams combined for 88 points, but Adairsville gets yet another win. Dalton 43, Lafayette nothing. Catamounts keep on winning. The Ramblers keep having some problems. Coosa 20, Chattooga 7. Don't look now, folks, but if you had Coosa left for dead when they were 0-5 going into the bye week, Coosa is now 2-2 in Region 7 AA, and next week's game between Coosa and Model could be huge because it could possibly determine who the number 3 seed in Region 7 AA is. Coosa, if they win out, they have 3 games left. They've already played Calhoun and Pepperell. If they win out in region play, they're going to be the number 3 seed, and they didn't win a game until last week. So the Eagles really turning things around. Talk about Model in just a minute, but that Coosa Model game next week is going to be a huge game. We'll have definitely a videographer there to cover it. Unity Christian 14, Covenant Christian 12 in a rematch of last season's ICSGA state final game. The Lions come out on top on the road. Big win for Unity. This should help possibly move them up in the region standings a little bit and possibly give them a better road through the ICSGA playoffs, which start in a couple of weeks. Tryon 65, Southwest Atlanta Christian 6. The Bulldogs bounce back after last week's overtime loss. Calhoun 69, Murray County nothing. Calhoun just keeps on winning. Unfortunately, Murray County continues to have a very difficult season. LFO 43, Coahulla Creek 14. LFO looks like they're right back in the thick of things, probably going for that number 3 seed in their region. Southeast Whitfield 30, Heritage 13. The Generals having a tough 2012 campaign. Dade County 20, Armurchie 17. The Indians almost take down the Wolverines in Trenton, Georgia, but Dade County gets its first win of the season, its first region win. The Wolverines, you know, they're really on the outside looking in Region 7 AA, but if they can win out, they may end up going places. The last game of the season for them is going to be against Model. If Dade puts a couple of wins together there, the winner of that game could very easily be your number 4 seed for Region 7 AA or possibly the number 3 seed, depending on how things go. Rockmart 28, Central of Carrollton 7. Just when you've written the Yellow Jackets off and said the season's over, they come out and do something like this. While Rockmart is definitely They're definitely going to have to win out, and that's going to be tough because they have Callaway as one of their last 3 games. If Rockmart can win out, they'll find themselves in the playoffs. Unfortunately, because of last week's overtime loss, they probably do have to win out just to get to the playoffs. Ringgold 36, North Murray 15. The Tigers still alive and kicking in their region. Pepperell 26, Model 13. We've already talked about next week in Coosa Model. The Blue Devils fall to 3-1 in Region 7 AA. Pepperell gets another Region 7 AA win. For all practical purposes, barring a major letdown and a major disappointment, Pepperell's going to be your number 2 seed out of Region 7 AA. Model, again, needs one more win to guarantee the playoffs. They have Coosa, Dade County left. They also have Calhoun left. They ain't going to get the win there. But, if they can beat Coosa, if they can beat Dade County, they should be in the playoffs. Of course, next week's game, huge. A win there. Model's already in the playoffs and probably will lock up the number 3 seed from Region 7 AA. All righty. We had videographers out at 3 different games, but the way things went tonight, we're only going to show one of them on the show. We'll tease to the other ones in just a few minutes. But after the commercial break, we're going to show you highlights from that big Darlington beatdown of Gordon Lee.
Begin your future at Georgia Northwestern Technical College. We offer degrees, diplomas, and certificates in over 200 programs of study. Choose a career in business, health, industrial, or public service. With the flexibility of day, evening, and online classes at any of our 5 campus locations, getting your education at GNTC has never been more convenient. There are many financial aid options available, including student loans. Apply now. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Your college, your town, your future.
Welcome back to the show. We always like to thank our sponsors, Riverside Automotive Group and Georgia Northwestern Technical College, for helping us bring the show to you, our viewers. Of course, tonight I was out at the sidelines at Darlington as Darlington and Gordon Lee met in a pivotal Region 6A sub-region matchup.
All the way down for a 54-yard touchdown run, Darlington. Chandler Duggan.
We did make a few mistakes, but certainly not as many as we made last week, which was certainly a positive. Executed much better in the second quarter. Defense, holy cow, pitch shutout tonight. Unbelievably proud of how hard they played, and guys ran to the football and tackled really well. Thought we were much better on special teams this week. Offensively, we finally found our rhythm in the second quarter and, felt like we pretty much controlled the second half.
You just got to see Darlington manhandle, highlights from Darlington's manhandling and Gordon Lee, 31-0. A couple key things about that game was that Darlington's defense was just almost spot on. They really held Gordon Lee back. They didn't allow Gordon Lee to do much. They shut down Gordon Lee's rushing attack, which, really stymied the Trojans. Gordon Lee hit a couple of pass plays, but they never could sustain any type of offensive momentum. Darlington scored twice in the second quarter, two big runs. The big one was from Brad Butler, who broke away for a 56-yard touchdown run. And that kind of got Darlington going. They didn't score again in the third quarter, but in the fourth, they scored a couple more touchdowns and a field goal. Darlington just kind of won running away. Gordon Lee really never even threatened to score, in all honesty. So Darlington now looks to be in very good shape. They sit atop Region 6A in their sub-region. If they win out, I believe they will. They will be playing either Walker or Whitefield Academy, if I remember correctly, one of those two teams for the region title. Of course, remember, in this week's power rankings, Darlington sits at number 2 in the private school division. Now, obviously, the power rankings are going to shift around the next 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how your opponents do. But, Gordon Lee's a good quality win for Darlington in this. So, I don't know if they'll move to number 1 because there was a big differential between them and number 1, but there's always that chance. Tigers look to be in very good shape. They're a team that could make a run in the playoffs. Again, it all depends on how those brackets line up. It's so important. Speaking of that, be sure you check back with us for the Wednesday show, the Gridiron Central Preview Show. Matt Davis and myself will sit down. We're not only going to talk about next Friday's games, but we're going to start talking about the playoff scenarios. Who could be in, who is definitely out, who is kind of in the middle and has to win. We'll break down that. We'll give you all kinds of information, talk about the previews, some prognostications, say who we think's going to win. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes I'm a lot more wrong than I should be. But anyway, also, we teased to the Darlington highlights. We showed those to you. We also have highlights from that Gordon Central Cartersville game at PrepCentralOnline.com and Pepperell's big win over Model, again, at PrepCentralOnline.com. Along with the videos, we have articles of all of the high school action, photo slideshows, and, of course, the videos. And you can watch this show whenever you want to. Like I said, check back with us on Wednesday as we'll start breaking down one who might win on Friday, but most importantly, the playoff scenarios, and if your favorite teams still have a chance to make the playoffs. For Kevin Myrick, Austin Wiggins, I'm Jim Allred saying we'll see you on Wednesday for the preview show.
Gridiron Central is sponsored by Georgia Northwestern Technical College, Riverside Automotive Group,